Hey, this is Steven Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite. This was the Veterans Day show in 2020, 11/11. We got a new open for AEW Dynamite, and it looks fucking fantastic. Looks really, really good. Um, there's a promise of like sort of an industry changing event happening. We're going to talk about that and the dangers of constantly declaring these things. It's definitely evidence of they don't have to say these things. Was it the Shaq announcement? Was it the return of Pac? None of these things feel like industry shakers, and I really wish they would quit fucking saying shit like that. I don't. I think it is definitely diminishing returns and may even work against them. That said, we got Jr., Tony, and Excalibur on commentary. That's good stuff. And then Taz eventually joins them for a little while. We open the show in a different way. Taz, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage come into the ring and talking. Darby's watching from the audience. We got Brian Cage against Matt Sydal. Taz puts over Matt Sydal on the microphone. Brian Cage and he have a pretty good match. The finish is pretty sensational. Diving off the top rope, Matt Sydal, that is, getting caught and then drill clawed by Brian Cage. And then Ricky Starks cuts a promo, which is interesting. Yep. Shenanigans happen. Everybody's separated. It is what it is. They lay out the whole card for the night. Again, very nicely done. Cody comes out to cut a promo saying how he's not going to go to reclaim the title yet. Maybe he'll take on MJF. Maybe, I don't know. And then Jade comes out, Cargill, looking great. Cuts a good promo, very disrespectful. Name drops Shaq, which is the big announcement, I guess. Brandy comes out, and Jade is so good that it makes Brandy good. Brandy, very, very visceral, very, very emotional promo about Jade not being able to talk to Cody that way and all that kind of stuff. And they get separated. Brian Cage comes in, powerbombs Cody. And then Darby comes in with the thumbtack jacket. What a fucking lunatic thing that is. And they did a good job, the commentators, talking about that thumbtack jacket. Say that 10 times fast. Talking about it earlier, so when he was using it here, basically throwing his body against other people with a thumbtack jacket, it had the proper effect. Will Hobbs comes out and clears things out, but without hitting anybody again. Suspicious question marks. And we're going to have the bunkhouse match after the break. It's great that they keep announcing what match is coming up. It's very smart. Commercial. Back from commercial, we show some clips from Omega and Page from the pay-per-view. And then Moxley cutting a promo with Alex Marvez, talking about the upcoming match with Omega, which they set for December 2nd. Wow. Good stuff. And here we go into our second match. Butcher and Blade with Bunny against QT and Dustin in a bunkhouse match. And boy, they go at it and they look the part. They got the little haystacks and that kind of thing. We get a split screen for this. QT and Blade are both bleeding, which is great because they're sort of focused because of the fight over Bunny, as it were. QT hits a maniacal elbow off the top of the ladder. Kudos. Bunny falls through the table. It's a great little spot. Blade's bleeding to his boots, as a good friend of mine says, and it looks awesome. Eventually, this leads to Blade getting hit with the bull rope cowbell from Dustin and taking the cutter from QT, and that is our match. What I said slobber knocker. God bless you, JR. And so it goes. Matt Hardy respects Sammy G through the course of their Elite Delete match. Talks about that. This tells me that it's not over with Sammy G. But we'll see if I'm right about that. MJF induction into the Inner Circle is going to be next. I noticed that Dynamite has been pulling away from more matches in favor of less with a lot of segments. I'm going to guess that it's going to be 5 matches tonight instead of the usual 6 or even more. We shall see. So MJF gets inducted, and the long and short of it is he got tickets for all of them to go to Vegas. So we're going to have a bit next week about them in Vegas. And Sammy G didn't get to be a part of things because he was apparently misled by MJF. Dun, dun, dun. Coming up after the break, we're going to have Scorpio Sky against Shawn Spears. We come back from the break, the Bucks and FTR. We see some clips of that. The Bucks talk about how Top Flight is this amazing team that's in, so they're going to face them next week. No evidence that FTR is anywhere near the place. Interesting. Top Flight had a good match on AEW Dark, and they're certainly a great tag team. I talked about them quite a bit, but that fucking finisher was garbage. Ugh, still mad about it. Then we got our third match, Shawn Spears against Scorpio Sky. Long and short of it, good match. Shawn Spears wins with a loaded glove. Dasha trying to talk to Kenny Omega, but he left right before they went on the air. But Alex Marvez tracks him down. Then Kenny Omega cuts a promo basically saying, yes, he and Moxley wrestled before, but this time it's going to be a wrestling match. And he's heard what people have been saying about Kenny Omega not living up to his potential, but he's going to live up to it now. Standard stuff, makes sense. Proper build towards a December match. Fourth match, Tay Conti against Red Velvet. Tay Conti is with Anna Jay, but Red Velvet is not with Brandy, as advertised, which is strange to me. Before they start wrestling, we get clips of the two women matches that happened at the pay-per-view, one of which happened at the buy-in. So they get a split screen as well. It's a decent match. These are two people that I wanted them to sign, so I'm glad to see this match happening. Take Conti. The story here is Anna Jay wants her to use a chair, but she refuses to use it, and then wins anyway with the Guerrero flipped into the knee. And so, but her and Anna Jay hug it out, so we'll see. Is Tay Conti going to draw Anna Jay into the light, or is Anna Jay going to eventually pull Tay Conti into the dark? I get your story here. Alex Marvez is with Jericho. Boy, we haven't seen Alex Marvez this many times in a show. Sammy's back. He gets his ticket to Vegas. We're going to have Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian next week based on the slap that happened in the promo during the pay-per-view. And they announce just a ton of matches for next week. So they're really ahead of the game doing their thing. And the Inner Circle is going to be in Vegas. Eddie Kingston comes out, cuts a promo about how the two guys are going to fight, his best friend and his brother. Ray Phoenix comes out. We go to commercial. We come back. Penta comes out. The match is much more than you think it would be between two supposed tag partners and friends. They rip up each other's mask in an attempt to take it off, which is highly disrespectful. The match is very physical and brutal, as you might expect. It's a very good match. Penta eventually wins with the package pile driver. Eddie Kingston clearly playing favorites, and then talks to Penta about, see, you should leave Ray, right? Eddie's trying to split up the Lucha Brothers. Then Pac shows up. And that is the end of the show. This was definitely a show. This was a post-pay-per-view show where things were advanced almost exclusively. But you need these workman-like shows, and they certainly gave us some nuggets to look forward to next week and for this December 2nd edition of Dynamite, which apparently is going to be a bigger show, headlined by Moxley and Kenny Omega. Nothing too special, not a lot to talk about here. And I love that new introduction for Dynamite. Anyway, this has been Stephen Platinum versus AEW Dynamite for 11/11/2020.